Welcome, welcome, warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me. I have breaking news about former Representative Matt Gaetz. We know that there was a lot of news that came out about him in regards to some sexual allegations, misconduct with a minor, but I wanted to give you what I'm going to have this live about is definitely about that, and I will have that breaking news, but I do want to remind you of what the truth is. The truth came out that this was actually a blackmail scheme against Matt Gaetz's family for a whole lot of money. Before I get further into this, don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, all the things. That like button really helps me out greatly. But before we get further into this, I want to share with you the backstory with Candace Owens about a Joel Greenberg. Now, I also did a live stream some weeks ago about Joel Greenberg. He is behind this whole blackmail mess. Mind you, this man has a history of accusing other people of the very things that he himself is doing with all of these allegations. He even did it against a political opponent. All right, so let's get into some Candace Owens and let her. This is really going to sum it up in a very short period of time. And then I'm going to go into what the current news is. So stick with me on this, warriors.
This strange story begins with a man named Joel Greenberg. Okay, Joel Greenberg, this person that I'm showing you on the screen right now, is the son of Andrew Greenberg. He's a dentist. Andrew Greenberg, his father, is a dentist and the founder of Greenberg Dental. They have a chain of over 90 dental clinics throughout Florida. So a very wealthy family. 2019, Joel Greenberg, his son, was serving as the tax collector for Seminole County, Florida. And Mel, our ex-reporter, describes Joel like this. She wrote, quote, "Greenberg is your classic rich kid who dinks through life, lighting fires that everyone else is forced to put out, never landing hard because daddy's money always catches his fall. You know the type, we all do." And Joel approached his role as tax collector no different than any other. Okay, so we all do kind of know this person that comes up with, just raised with so much money. They got like the fast car, unbelievably expensive car when they turn like 15 and a half, huge parties all the time. And it is true, these people tend to be a prototype. And so he gets elected into this position of power. And while he is a tax collector, he gets accused of being involved in this crypto scam. Okay. So it's politics, it's Republican politics. Of course, if someone sees that you're in hot water, they're going to go, okay, well, primaries are coming up. I'm going to primary you. And that's what happened to our rich kid, Joel Greenberg, a man named Brian Butte, who had thitherto been a teacher, decided to throw his name in the hat. He was like, I'm going to run against you, Joel Greenberg. The Republican primary is coming up. What's up? You've got there's a little bit of shady stuff going on with your record. What are you doing with that crypto stuff? But here's the thing about rich kids. They do not like being told no. They don't play by the same rules as the rest of us. We know this. And Joel was used to having his way throughout life. So he decided that he was going to destroy Butte with smear tactics, publicly and privately. First, he starts saying to people publicly, he's a carpetbagger. I had to look up that term. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. Literally, they used to have these old school bags made out of carpets that people used to travel with. Think about like Mary Poppins when she pulls out that lamp. It's like a carpet bag. And so you describe somebody as a carpetbagger if they don't even go here. And that's the reality, is that Butte was from Michigan. He then moved to Florida. So he goes, oh, he's a carpetbagger. But that wasn't enough. So he started upping his smear tactics against Butte. And he did this in a really creepy, but very on par with a bratty rich kid kind of way. He created fake Facebook profiles and pretended to be Brian Butte's past students. He even set up a Facebook page, which has since been removed by Facebook, and he entitled it Creepy Brian Butte. And
Wait a minute. You guys may have seen this. I'm just trying to give you the backstory of the current story that I'm going to give you. So stick with me on this. This is really, really good because I really like to create a full narrative on my videos. Candace Owens is talking about this Joel Greenberg, which is behind all the stuff with the Gaetz family and all the accusations there. She just said that Joel Greenberg was the tax collector in Florida, and there was this other man by the name of Butte, B-E-U-T-E, that's the last name, that was going up against Joel Greenberg. And what Joel Greenberg decides to do is to create fake Facebook profiles pretending to be his political opponent's students. This is what this man did. Crazy mind. Okay. Things are not always what they seem. Remember that.
He would generate these fake posts. This is an adult man. I'm not kidding. It's so rich kid. I can't stand it. It's like a rich teenage girl more than anything else. And he would generate these fake posts, trashing Butte as an awful teacher, but also as a pervert. Okay. So our ex-reporter Mel goes on to write, quote, that Greenberg's antics finally reached an apex when he mailed, because he was going crazy, he got obsessed with trying to take this man down. He mailed handwritten letters to the administrators at the school where Butte taught, accusing him of sexually assaulting his students. Okay, I mean, that's just insane. Like, this is an election. He's sitting here and he's like, I'm going to pretend that you sexually assaulted students. You are getting out of this race. I get what I want. Mommy and daddy never told me no. And you, Mr. Butte, are not about to tell me no. So what Greenberg didn't expect was that those letters were going to be taken very seriously. I don't know why he didn't expect this. Or maybe he just thought his daddy was going to bail him out. Or he didn't expect any of these things, or else he would have been more careful, obviously, but he wasn't. And when the letters were turned over to the local sheriff's office, they obviously checked to see if it had fingerprints. The letters did have fingerprints. His DNA and fingerprints were lifted from them. And this rich kid, Joel Greenberg, got arrested on June 23rd, 2020, and was charged by the Department of Justice with stalking. Okay, so here we have it. The stalking charges against Greenberg alleged that he used a pseudonym to send letters to the middle school where Butte was a teacher, falsely claiming that Butte had a sexual relationship with a student. This is really just incredible. Like these are just adults, and this is, for whatever reason, going on. Welcome to American politics. Anyways, in the process of them arresting him, the police also confiscated his phone. And then the heat really got turned up because rich kids are always doing the absolute most. The police were able then to collect evidence of embezzlement, drugs, prostitution, identity theft, wire fraud, and yes, the crypto market manipulation that people were already heavily suggesting that he was involved in. Plus, and here's the big one, messages between him and a 17-year-old girl discussing their sexcapades all around Florida and beyond Florida. Okay. So per the criminal suit, he had spent $70,000 on hookers that he met on the Sugar Daddy website. If you're not familiar, it's like this website where girls can sign up, and just what it sounds like, they can find themselves a sugar daddy to pay for their lives if they go on dates with them. And so they were able to see that he spent $70,000 on hookers that he met on Sugar Daddy, and he was using his government-issued Amex. So that was not a great thing. Now, to be fair, while this young woman was on the website, she obviously was representing herself to be of age. But off the site, Greenberg knew that that was not true and that she was, in fact, underage. And how do we know that he knew that? Because he used the power of his office to make it so that she was of age. What am I talking about? Well, in Florida, the Office of County Tax Collector doesn't just collect taxes, they also issue driver's licenses and state IDs. So he was making and keeping IDs for himself. So if somebody would come in and be like, hi, I'm Candace, I moved to Tennessee. Here's my Connecticut ID. I've moved from Connecticut. You're supposed to shred my old ID. He was keeping IDs, storing them, giving them out, using them. And he was able to secure fake IDs for his lovers. So in August of 2020, the DOJ, was able to charge Joel Greenberg with sex trafficking of a minor, identity theft, and the production of false identification documents, among very many other things. And this is where Matt Gaetz comes in. You're probably going, okay, what's that have to do with Matt Gaetz? Well, it does have something to do with Matt Gaetz. So apparently Greenberg and Matt Gaetz were friends. Nobody really knows how long or how close they were friends, but they were definitely friends. I'd imagine it's not difficult to run in the same circles, given the fact that Matt was also involved in politics, also grew up as a wealthy kid in Florida. It's a small world. Of course, they came across each other. Here's a photo of Matt Gaetz with Joel Greenberg and Roger Stone. Now, realizing how much trouble he was in, Joel Greenberg, he was trying to figure out, how do I get out of trouble? Let me cut a deal. Can I throw somebody else under the bus? I want less time. With friends like these, who needs enemies? So his lawyers contacted Bill Barr's office, then the attorney general under President Trump. And he says, hey, look, homies, I've got dirt on a sitting congressman who also happens to be my friend, Matt Gaetz. I will literally sell this man down a river to save my own skin. What do I have to do? And then he says, I have proof that he engaged in sex acts with minors.
And I'm going to stop it right there. So this is how Matt Gaetz, that whole thing happened with Joel Greenberg, just happened to have been friends with the wrong person. Like she said, with friends like that, who needs enemies? This whole thing was conjured up because he himself, Joel Greenberg, was in trouble. So he sold his friend down a river, blackmailed him, tried to get $25 million from Don Gaetz, Matt Gaetz' father. All of this stuff was conjured up by Joel Greenberg. It is simply not true. Now, let's get into the story at hand, the update on what is going on here with Matt Gaetz. I just want to give you guys the update since that's what you're here for. This is a CNN newscast right here. And I know we don't really like CNN. I know we don't. But I'm going to give you this right here so you can
release the ethics report on former Congressman Matt Gaetz. You'll remember that investigation looked into allegations of sexual misconduct, drug use, and possible bribes. It is now set to be made public, this investigation, soon.
We are told that this report is expected to be made public once this session of Congress ends and lawmakers leave Washington to return home for the holidays. But I think the timing of this is very notable. We know that when the committee first voted last month not to release this report, Matt Gaetz was still Donald Trump's pick to be his attorney general. Since then, he has withdrawn his name from consideration. He has also made clear that he has no plans to return to Congress next year, and has also said that he is planning to join One America News Network to be an anchor for them in January. Now, just to get a little bit,
and just to let you just go over these allegations against him: sexual misconduct, illicit drug use, sharing inappropriate images or videos on the House floor, converting campaign funds for personal use, and or accepting a bribery, improper gratuity, or impermissible gifts.
Into this report, the Ethics Committee has been working on this report and investigating Gaetz's alleged conduct for about a year now. Here's some of what they've been investigating: whether he engaged in sexual misconduct, whether he used illicit drugs, and also whether he shared inappropriate images or videos on the House floor, misused state identification records, converted campaign funds to personal use, accepted a bribe, had improper gratuity, or impermissible gifts. And that is according to an announcement from the panel while they were investigating this. So again, this is a reversal for them. We had no idea after they had initially voted whether they were ultimately going to vote on whether to release this report. We now know that they voted secretly to do so.
So Manu, it's rare, it's not unheard of, but it's rare for a report on a lawmaker by the Ethics Committee to come out after the lawmaker is no longer in the House. Even more rare to do it over the objections of the Speaker of the House. Mike Johnson didn't want this. So what happened here?
Yeah, that's right. In fact, that's what Mike Johnson cited. He said that, yes, there is precedent for releasing this ethics report, but he said it was bad precedent. That was his argument in trying to shelve this report while Matt Gaetz was considered as the Attorney General nominee. There have been a couple of instances. There's one in the House back in 1987 where that occurred. Also one in the Senate Ethics Committee back in 2011. Then Senator John Ensign had resigned. It was released after the fact. But the argument was a lot of members believe that Matt Gaetz ultimately decided to resign, and really abruptly resign, to try to bury this report altogether. And some Republicans believe that they sided with Mike Johnson's belief that they should not move ahead with this report because of that fact. Now, it's also important to note that Gaetz is someone who has maintained frosty relations with Republicans and Democrats alike on Capitol Hill. We don't know if that's a precise reason for this reversal, but that's one of the things that can't be ignored here. He, of course, led the charge to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House last year. That angered many Republicans. He is someone who has often attacked very directly, aggressively Republicans and Democrats alike. His relationships are one reason why he didn't appear. He had the votes to get confirmed as Attorney General amid all these allegations, that questions about whether they would come out drip by drip or the entire report. But now we can potentially see this whole report as soon as this week. The House is voting this today. We don't know the exact final day of the session, but the sources are telling us that they expect it to be released after the final votes of this year.
All right. So let's, I'm going to go to another clip as well so you guys can see this. Now, this is a lawyer describes his client's testimony in the House Ethics Committee investigation of Gaetz. Okay, we're gonna listen to this.
Good evening.
Oh, there's an
Tonight
ad.
we have
Sorry,
the
guys.
pride of West Africa. It brings together
But,
the Ghanaian, the Senegalese, and the Nigerian. Jollof rice. So what jollof rice is the best?
Sorry.
Ghana jollof.
Nigerian jollof.
Senegalese.
But in any event, this is ramping up. This House Ethics Committee is going to go forth. We already know that Matt Gaetz dropped out of this, to be Donald Trump's attorney general. He already dropped out. But I wanted you guys to know, I don't believe any of this.
Your clients knew he had paid also your clients for sex. He was paying for sex.
The testimony before the House was yes, that Representative Gaetz paid my client, both of my clients, for sexual favors throughout the summer of 2017 all the way to the beginning of 2019.
And how did he pay them?
Those were primarily through Venmo and PayPal payments. There was one payment through Representative Gaetz' adopted son through his PayPal.
Nestor,
That's
the
right.
adopted son. Payments would come there too.
There was only one payment that it was testified to.
May I just ask, and your client's age obviously was technically over 18, right? But within that same, they were friends from high school. Friends from high school with the underage girl.
That's right. Their boyfriends had dated each other in high school, and that's how they became friends.
Mm-hmm. And Matt Gaetz at the time is obviously in his.
He was 35, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but he knew the age of your clients, young.
I don't know if they knew their exact age, but most of the women at these events were in their 19 to mid 20s.
So there was a separate DOJ probe into Gaetz, which included many allegations, right? But the DOJ probe looked specifically into allegations that Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old girl, allegedly violating sex trafficking laws in terms of transporting this girl to travel with him. Do you happen to know if that girl that the DOJ was probing is the same girl as the 17-year-old girl that your client saw Gaetz having sex with?
Yes, that's the same person in question. She testified. She's intimate with all the facts that took place, but that is the same individual and she did testify as to the DOJ investigation to the House.
Has Gaetz or anyone affiliated with Gaetz reached out to you or your clients since the nomination to ask for anything?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So he's denied wrongdoing, as you know. And was not charged by the DOJ, although, of course, the House Ethics Committee will wait and see whether we see the results of what that paper was, that report. He was interviewed by Tucker Carlson, who asked him about the 17-year-old. Let me just play that for you, Joel.
Sure.
They're saying there is a 17-year-old girl who you had a relationship with. Is that true? And who are they? Who is this girl? What are they talking about, the New York Times?
The person doesn't exist. I have not had a relationship with a 17-year-old. That is totally false.
So you're 100% sure that he's lying there?
I'm not here to express, to call him a liar, but I can tell you that my client testified, and she's friends with that individual, and they've been friends for several years. She testified to the House that they both moved to Colorado subsequently. And in fact, they texted me and they're saying that they're watching it tonight.
They're watching.
And I'm just going to stop that right there. I'm going to find this other clip for you all with more with Candace Owens, because she has a little bit more on this. She definitely does. Let me just get that pulled up for you. But this is crazy. Now, these people don't give up. They just don't give up. They will do anything to get what they want. And I'm going to play this for you right now. This is more of what that clip was.
What the truth is from your perspective.
It is a horrible allegation, and it is a lie. The New York Times is running a story that I have traveled with a 17-year-old woman, and that is verifiably false. People can look at my travel records and see that that is not the case. What is happening is an extortion of me and my family involving a former Department of Justice official. On March 16th, my father got a text message demanding a meeting wherein a person demanded $25 million in exchange for making horrible sex trafficking allegations against me go away. Our family was so troubled by that, we went to the local FBI. And the FBI and the Department of Justice were so concerned about this attempted extortion of a member of Congress that they asked my dad to wear a wire, which he did with the former Department of Justice official. Tonight, I am demanding that the Department of Justice and the FBI release the audio recordings that were made under their supervision and at their direction, which will prove my innocence and that will show that these allegations aren't true. They're merely intended to try to bleed my family out of money. And this former Department of Justice official tomorrow was supposed to be contacted by my father so that specific instructions could be given regarding the wiring of $4.5 million as a down payment on this bribe. I don't think it's a coincidence that tonight, somehow, the New York Times is leaking this information, smearing me, and ruining the investigation that would likely result in one of the former colleagues of the current DOJ being brought to justice for trying to extort me and my family.
And you notice that when CNN showed this same thing, this is from 2021, they didn't show all of this. You see what I'm saying? They never show the part that makes it look like Matt Gaetz is being very credible, which I believe Matt Gaetz. I believe him. But CNN, Aaron Burnett, they could have showed more of that same clip. This is the lamestream media for you. So now the ethics committee is going to release the report. That's what we're looking at right now. They're going to release this right now. It's weird that they would do this right now after the man is, he's gone. He resigned from his position. He's gone. So they're still pushing this false narrative. And again, one of you said this is in a way to get our eyes off of the things that really matter. This is, we got drones, we've got potential war. I mean, we've got a lot of things that we need to be focused on. That is why I encourage you guys to really pray, pray, pray. Really pray, because right now, I don't know what these people are conjuring up. I even saw allegedly that they have 10 indictments ready to go up against Donald Trump before he's even in office for his second term. I don't know how true that is. Not saying it's true. It's hard to verify things from where I stand, but that is insane. These people literally just won't let us have peace. We could have a great country, a great 4 years, but we've got to believe that God is in control and he will stop them. God Almighty will stop them. So I really appreciate you guys. My doorbell just rang. I really got to go, but don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You guys be blessed. Love God, your families, the United States of America, and march on, warriors.